Hi, it's Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. Oscar Mike Radio is a military and veterans podcast and show about those who serve our country and those who have served and are doing amazing things.
You know what? Let's take more. And then they had that fantastic...
It's managing those logistics and getting things where they need to be on time.
I mean, come on.
Want to learn more? Want to follow the show? Go to OscarMikeRadio.com or the link below. We're Oscar Mike, and we're mission in flight. Thank you.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome everybody to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is
Sunday?
Sunday. How is it?
What did you say? Did you say Sunday? Or did you say something different?
I said Sunday.
And then I said it 3 more times.
3 more times.
I thought he was correcting you.
No, cracker.
No.
Look.
So I figured out what hill that I'm willing to die on this week.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I'm going to say that Annie Potts was the hot one in Ghostbusters, and it was not Sigourney Weaver.
Are we talking
This is the hill that I'm willing to die on.
The original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we're talking like OG original.
Which one was which?
Annie Potts. Oh, you know who Sigourney was?
No.
She was the one that got possessed.
Right.
And then Annie Potts was the.
Did one of them have the dark curly hair?
I think that was Sigourney.
Sigourney had dark curly hair.
Yeah. Anyway, that's for our OGs out there that have been on this planet for a while.
Yeah.
I watched Ghostbusters. I'm not really good at names of actors and actors.
Oh. Well, this is the hill that I'm willing to die on, at least today. Annie Potts was the hot one.
I have no judgment for you. So.
I would hope. Well.
Anyway, how are you, Willis?
I'm good. How are you? Today was a beautiful day. You know, we went to church this morning with the wife and kids, and it's just, you know, this last couple weekends have just been really chill. My wife's birthday's coming up here, the 22nd or the 24th is her birthday, but the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd, I lucked out, and one of our podcasts on Monday rescheduled to the 10th because the one we had for tomorrow had to reschedule for the 19th of August. So it worked out that I don't have any podcast that weekend.
Everything happens for a reason.
So everything happens for a reason. The wife said last night that she wanted to go on a little trip, whether it be to the beach somewhere that's like less than 5 hours from where we live, or go down to Gatlinburg or something of that nature. So I think we're planning on going down to Gatlinburg.
Nice.
And we're going to leave Saturday. We're going to leave Saturday and go down to Gatlinburg. And we looked into Dollywood to go to Dollywood.
Oh.
But it was $92 a ticket.
You get a veteran discount.
I know, but still, $92 is freaking no.
Like if you're going to Gatlinburg, you need to get on Groupon too.
Well,
Yeah.
There's so much.
And
stuff.
you need to go to the world's largest Buc-ee's.
I don't know. No. No.
I did it once, and I'm like, oh no, there's way too many people.
Would you go again?
Would I go again? Yeah, 3:00 in the morning.
No.
I don't feel like it would be any better.
I know. The later it is, there's less people.
I've stopped at Buc-ee's twice. The first time we went to, I think we were going to South Carolina for my daughter's archery competition. We got really lucky. There was not a whole lot of people. And then on the way back, they wanted to stop again, and there was like umpteen million people. And I'm like, no.
I don't know. I feel like it's a one-time experience. But the thing is, like the day and age now, like you can't go to Walmart at 2:00 in the morning anymore. So like go to Buc-ee's because it's a one-stop shop.
And they have banana pudding fudge. You heard me. Banana.
I don't even like bananas. So no.
Nobody's talking to you. I'm talking to her.
He likes crayon flavored fudge.
By the way, Annie Potts was the secretary.
Yeah, she was the secretary.
I'm trying to picture.
She was the one that answered the phone. We got one.
You know what? You need to Google it, and we'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah,
so.
do it.
All right.
But no, we got a great show tonight, man. Travis, I met Travis a while back, and Travis is amazing. He's been podcasting for 8 years. He's getting ready to do his 400th episode. That's crazy. 400 episodes. He's been doing it for 8 years, and he's involved with all kinds of different organizations, and he just does really great work. And I'm super excited to bring him up on the stage here in just a few minutes. But
and he's got a sexy voice. Just
he does. He's got that voice that's made for radio.
Yeah, but a face that's made for television. So he's like the whole package.
Yeah, he's the whole package. So Travis served in the Marine Corps in the late 1990s. Got on and moved on with life. He started getting involved in some local veteran organizations and realized that there are many different stories and efforts happening that needed to be told. So that's kind of why he started Oscar Mike Radio. He's kind of, like me in the sense where when I got out of the Marine Corps, I got involved into all these different veteran service organizations as well. And when I got into podcasting, I was like, all right, what's been told, what's not being focused on? And I noticed that veteran service organizations were not being focused on. So that's kind of we created HomeFront Sitrep to focus on.
Even like not focused on in the right way.
Yeah. So we got Christopher Raymond in chat. Hi. What's up, Christopher? And then we got Woo Riders DG from Florida. Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show. But
I don't know why I did that.
I guess because you're trying to do West Coast. I don't know.
But it's Florida. All right. There we go. East Coast.
It's because you guys are talking about a man's voice. Like I have two men.
Check this out.
Talking about another man's voice. So
have you ever
Travis a Marine too?
Travis
Walmart?
Oh, God. I gotta go.
Check out the Walmart gang sign. Walmart.
Oh.
But anyhow.
Anyway, go ahead.
Look,
we need to get
I don't know if
on.
I can deal with you guys tonight. And we haven't even got Travis on here yet.
Travis is awesome. You'll love him. His voice is
just another
so
Marine.
Good. He can read me a bedtime story.
Yeah, we're gonna have him sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars." I think it might put me right to sleep.
I like that.
So, without further ado, let's bring Mr. Travis up on stage. Welcome, Travis.
Good evening.
See, how are you, sir? There's that voice. There we go.
I'm gonna have to bite my tongue tonight.
Well, now that's a first.
That is a first.
It wasn't because of your voice. Don't think that. It was because of Brandon's reaction.
Brandon got
sure. Whatever you say, no problem.
Right.
Brandon, what was your favorite flavor crown?
Clear.
What color is yours, Travis?
I don't have a crayon. That crayon stuff was way after my time.
Dude, it was after mine too. And I'm trying to figure out where it came from. I've heard the stories.
I'm so glad that went over all of your heads.
I know where it came from, but
yeah, we can talk about it. You want to talk about it?
No, let's not.
I want to talk about Travis. I want Travis to talk.
On here that are Marines, you can talk about.
We're going to talk about Travis and Oscar Mike Radio.
Like, shut up, you guys.
And his journey. So Travis, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and I guess start with your, right after high school, going into the Marine Corps, and then we'll go from there.
Cream corn.
Sure. After high school, I kind of bounced around a little bit. Life had taken some interesting turns, and I decided, I need to do something different with my life and really like reboot, blow it up, or whatever. And the ironic thing is, the town I joined the Marine Corps from is actually an Air Force town. Shreveport-Bossier is home of the Strategic 8th Air Command. So I knew what the Air Force life was like, but I said, screw that. I'll join the Marine Corps. That'll be the smart thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Woe is me. And so, I joined the Marine Corps. I got into the Air Wing, into the Aviation Support MOS, thinking I got the scores. I'll be an air traffic controller or weather service or whatever. And I remember, we did MCT at the time. This is just before the Crucible came out. And they said, hey, you're going to be a 7222 Hawk Missile Systems operator. And I remember it was Captain Wolf, who was like the CO of the MCT platoon. And I'm like, sir, what's that? He's like, I have no idea, Marine, but guess what? They'll tell you all about it when you get there.
Oh, nice.
So, I went to Fort Bliss in Texas, and, the wrinkle too was I get off the plane, I got my sea bag and got my Charlie Alphas on, and, the lieutenant on duty and the driver picks me up. They're both WMs, and they're like, hey, just to let you know, Hawk is going away. It's being replaced by Patriot. I'm like, get out. You guys are messing with me. There's no way the Marine Corps would put a fresh Marine into an MOS that's going away. No way.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait.
They did.
Yep.
It got really real when the cutting score for corporal was 800 points higher than for sergeant. So there was a bunch of us who were like, wait a minute, we can't get promoted. Well, you could get promoted if you re-upped or lap move to cook or cannon cocker. If you're willing to lap move right now into that MOS, you would be promoted, but they'd want you to re-sign or re-up if you could, or you could, get out and then reapply and come back in the Marine Corps and lose no time in service. And I'm like, I was kind of banged up. I had gotten hurt, and I'm like, I'm not going to give the Corps another chance with my life.
Right.
And so I just stayed out. But, it wasn't until much later that I realized, man, you get a whole lot of good stuff out of your Marine Corps experience, regardless of where and how you serve. So Hawk was a cool MOS. I absolutely loved it. I would have stayed in for 20 years. And what it is, ladies and gentlemen, it's a missile about as long as your car, weighs about 1,500 pounds, and we fire it from this thing called a launcher. And when you hear the boom, because if you watch in the videos, you'll hear this boom. That's not the solid fuel igniting. That's the missile breaking the sound barrier. That's how fast it's going. And it's like it's like 4th of July every day. And when I saw that, I'm like, whatever I got to do to stay in, I will. But alas, it was not to be. So that's my Marine Corps career. It was brief. It wasn't very exceptional in terms of, I didn't do any crazy deployments, or I wasn't forced recon or MARSOC or anything. But I'd like to think it was a very unique MOS, especially when you get out and talk to people from other countries, like what's going over there in Ukraine, like Israel, like other countries who have to defend themselves. Hawkers are a very small fraternity, and, we bond regardless of where we served or who we served under. So it was good in that respect. And then, like you guys, I have friends of mine that, came and went. I have friends of mine that I buried, but I have friends of mine that are still a phone call away. And I just can't understand there's anything else out there like it. There's nothing like it. And case in point, last year I'm at a veterans event, and the question was, when's the Air Force, when's your birthday? They didn't know when their birthday was.
Nope. Right.
Army, can you sing the Army song? And they couldn't sing the Army song. And I'm like, that's shameful.
It is.
Because
so
we
what
can do
you
it.
Guys do?
We can do it all.
We can do it all.
Look what I can do.
I want to see all. Is there a Marine song?
Yes.
Actually, we have a hymn.
Right now.
We have a hymn.
David, what's going on?
she's getting fired. I think she's fired.
Is she
So,
messing with
so
you?
Marine Corps birthday, November 10, 1775.
Got it.
Brian's right there.
Of
Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Bring it down now.
We can go on.
Try again.
No, that's not what
we're definitely not in sync.
No, we're not doing it in sync. We're just doing it.
Yeah, we're just doing it.
Thank you, Brian. They needed the words. A couple of them did.
No, we did
but
not.
Brandon's over there like wanting a life-size Travis right now that has a button that makes it talk so he can have a new.
Right now, I have a life-size Travis. I'm on a 50-inch TV, and Travis is like right there.
Are you feeling a little intimidated by that, Travis?
No, I'm like a big teddy bear.
Brandon has to.
Like a Grizzly or Kodiak.
So when you got out of the Marine Corps and you got home, you were back home, and what was the transition like for you in the early 90s when you got out? What was your transition?
Late 90s, early 2000s, and
there you go.
I didn't go home. I rode my motorcycle, my Honda Shadow 1100, from Yuma, Arizona to Boston, Massachusetts. I had gotten married, and I had to go right to my at the time wife's place, settle in, get a job, start providing, start defending, start procreating. Had to do it. And long story short, I had grown up in the Midwest, the South, and spent time in the West during my Marine Corps career. I'd never been to New England or the Northeast at all. And so there was culture shock. They pronounce towns differently here.
They pronounce everything differently there.
Right. They really, believe in their sports teams hardcore, which, okay. And then, I'm not like them. I don't sound like them. 20 years later, I don't sound like them. So you stick out like a sore thumb. And I think I would say, in all seriousness, though, is I felt very lonely and isolated at times because, I still don't I still don't use an umbrella, right? I just don't.
Right. I can't either.
And people think that's weird. I'm like, and then the usual thing where I don't care where we go. And if I'm in a restaurant or public place, I'm, threat, non-threat, exit, right? And my now ex-wife thought that was just weird. And I'm like, I couldn't explain to her how I was trained. And the thing is, I couldn't really articulate what I was going through. So to answer your question, David, it was a feeling of, being alone, not abandoned, but very alone in a strange land with no real support system and nobody that I knew. And I had to carve it all out for myself, and I had to do it fast.
That is a struggle when we get out of the military is, depending on where we go. Like when I first got out, I came home and I moved in with my dad, which I'm from Barstown, and my dad was living in Louisville, which is, I'm on the outskirts of Louisville now, but that transition for me, the first time was not long enough to let it sink in that I was done, because I got recalled back in. But that second time, when I got that second DD 214, I was like, man, what am I going to do with life? Of course, I already had one failed marriage. My credit was in the tank. It was definitely a like Brian said, it was a culture shock, when we first got out. Now I did move back to Kentucky, which I was somewhat familiar with. But my whole mindset from like when I was in high school, and when I got out of the Marine Corps was completely different. Because, I seen the world for what it was. Cause I left Kentucky when I was younger, but for like vacations and stuff. So I didn't get to see other parts of the country. And then when I joined the Marine Corps, I got to see other worlds, third world countries like Haiti, was in Greece, was in Okinawa, was in, Australia, all these places that I got to see, Tunisia, Africa. And it was like you said, it is a culture shock. And for like you were born down south, and now you're moving up to the New England states. You got, for one, the weather is completely different than from Louisiana. And they
I was born in Indiana, actually.
Okay.
Then we moved down south. So still, Louisiana and Massachusetts could not be more
Yeah,
pull it off.
Overrated.
Well, you know what? I mean, in some respects, I don't disagree with you.
I had a bad vacation there for a month this year, so
that she did a very bad.
We're calling it a bad vacation.
Okay. All right.
I love the weather. The weather was wonderful.
When did you go?
I was there the whole month of February.
Yeah, she was up there. January. Yeah, she was up there late January, early
the cold,
and all of February. And no, man, it's crazy. So, what made you get into podcasting? I mean, what was your why? What is your why?
Sure. 2010 to 2013, I was going through a very bad divorce, not my choice, and got it. You know, this is, I'm no longer with you, kind of thing, and felt very worthless, felt very hopeless. I missed my children dearly. Had to rebuild my life all over again, and be a dad and work and so on and so forth. Very tough, very tough. And one of the things that started, my journey down veterans advocacy before the podcast is it's 2013 and it's Thanksgiving, and my lawyer calls me and I'm like, okay, how much is this going to cost? Because, they either bill on the 5 or 15. And she's like, hey, I'm just checking in on you. I care about you. I'm like, well, this is weird. I mean, the lawyers I've talked to just want to, once the retainer is set, it's about getting the max value. But, come to find out, she was really serious about that. I said, well, hey, life is sucking right now. I'm not really in a people kind of mood. I'm just going to get some Chinese, play some Skyrim on my Xbox, maybe watch a little football and smoke a cigar and go to bed. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stay in my apartment all day. And, if you saw my lawyer, she's about 110 pounds, Portuguese, with blonde hair and blazing brown eyes. And for the next 5 minutes, I'm getting my rear end chewed about how ungrateful I am. And she's like, I want you to go to the Brockton VA and volunteer during Thanksgiving. And I expect a full report on the following Monday about what you did. And I don't want to hear this nonsense about you staying in your apartment. And I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? I'm paying for this. This wasn't part of the lawyer process. I've never heard of a lawyer doing that in my entire life, especially on other ones I've dealt with, for contracts at work or whatever. So I went down to the Brockton VA. I signed up to serve coffee and donuts to the veterans there, man. And I'm thinking, I got pretty bad until I saw these dudes. I mean, they're living in a 10 by 6 room, 10 by 12 by 8 room with 2 other dudes maybe. And you realize that people coming to see them on Thanksgiving and Christmas is as good as their year is going to get.
Yeah.
There's no family coming to see them. There's no celebrity coming to see them. They got a small TV. They got to crane their neck at. They got, physical and mental ailments. And I am like, okay, wow, it's time to get some gratitude and understand that I got a way out. I've got, my arms, legs. I can, think I can do this, and I told her that. And then right around that time, as you know, David, is when, finally the administration in charge at the time had to finally admit that, yeah, veterans, for whatever reason at the time, are killing themselves at an unprecedented rate.
Yeah.
And I am a lifetime member of the Marine Corps League. And we, Marine Corps League is, Marines who are veterans, meet the criteria and they join. And then we meet, we do things in the community, we do things together. And one of the things that we did is we do burial rituals for veterans that have passed, Marine Corps or otherwise. And there was a 6 to 8 month stretch where at least 1 to 3 times a month, we're going to a funeral home because some guy had killed himself. And you do the ritual. There's a ritual that we do, for that, fallen, soldier or, sailor, whoever. And then we greet the family afterwards to offer them our condolences and comfort. And the thing that just made me stop cold one day is, because I was, at the time, I was about the same age. A lot of these guys were either young, like in their 20s, or they were in their 40s or 50s, and just offing themselves. It was just crazy. I happened to be the same age as this woman's son, and she asked me, "Well, how come you're still alive and my son isn't?"
Mm.
I didn't know what to say to her. I mean, I'm like, this is way heavier than I'm even prepared to deal with. And this is 10, 11 years ago that this happened.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, well, right then and there, I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I got to do something. I don't know what it is. This is crazy. I've got no money. I've got no expertise. I've got no connections. I've got nothing. But, I'm like, damn it, I'm a Marine. I can figure out something. And right at that time, I was doing guest hosting at WVBF AM 1530 in Taunton with a group of guys doing a show called the South Shore News and Views. And, I found out that I liked doing it. And they said, hey, you really, if you worked at this, you could probably do something with it. So long story short, radio time, up here is about $500 on the AM band, about $500 for an hour. And so to do 4 shows a month is $2,000. And I just didn't have it. But then, podcasting is nothing like it is now. But I'm like, writing's not going to cut it for me. I can write, but it's not really my thing. I'll try doing a podcast. And in April of 2016, I met a gentleman by the name of Keith Hayes, who kind of got me started in podcasting. In July 22nd, I think, is when the show first launched. But at this time, 8 years ago, I was finalizing the logo, the format, understanding how Audacity worked, trying to, make my voice sound good on a very inexpensive USB mic. But, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And Oscar Mike, as you know, David, is, on the mission or on the move. We're Oscar Mike. We're going to do whatever. And I'm like, maybe if I do this enough, I won't feel so bad about myself and my situation, but also I'll meet some people who have gone through their valley of the shadow of the death, their abyss, and I'll learn from them. And maybe some guy out there, some woman out there who's thinking that this permanent solution is going to fix everything might just save themselves, might just get some help, might just improve their lives. So it's a very long, that's a very concise way to summarize 8 years, but that's how I got started, man.
No, I love it, man. I mean, that's so when the last veteran service organization that I was with, when I resigned from the board, I was like, well, I'm gonna start podcasting. And, I didn't know where to start. Like, I had no idea where to start. And then I started, doing research, and then I started, I ordered a podcast bundle, which is the microphone, the soundboard. I ordered a computer because I didn't have a desktop computer. I had a small Chromebook, and I was like, well, I want a desktop computer. And so I got all that, had it all set up.
You talked about it for a while before you actually started.
2 years.
And had your stuff. Yeah.
2 years. I created the Facebook, the private group for the podcast, the HomeFront Sitrep. And I was like, and people started joining, and, we started talking about it, and it was 2 years. And literally, and during that 2 years, I was like, all right, well, I started, researching what veteran podcasting was and what everybody was talking about. And, then I got to the point where I was like, all right, I need to start this. And then I didn't start. And then I started doing some more research, and I was like, all right. And then I finally settled down on, veteran service organizations, because there are people that highlight veteran service organizations, especially when they bring a veteran on and that's what they're doing. But it's not something that is talked about on every show. And we talk about pretty much on every show about a veteran service organization, whether it be, the Hope Project down in Florida with retired chaplain David Trodston, or Wayward Warrior Ranch in Bristol, Virginia, or Warriors Next Adventure, or you name it. There's so many good ones. Project Zero in Texas.
Well, I mean, you look at the thing like here. Okay, so hey, Travis, we got Travis, who's a podcaster, who is a veteran. So let's not necessarily say that you're here representing an organization. You're Oscar Mike Radio, right?
Yeah.
But coincidentally, we're still talking about those VSOs, the Marine Corps League. Like I saw that you were just at an event with I Got Your Six, saving 2 lives at a time, like for service dogs. Like, so there's still, you're always bringing in some type of VSO that's going to be this great resource.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So over the course of 8 years, you've got to work with several different veteran service organizations in the area that you are in. Like she said, just recently, you were at a couple of events here recently talking about veteran service organizations. In the 8 years that you've been doing podcasting, and I'm assuming the first year you didn't really get involved with a lot of veteran service organizations. You probably talked to a few of them. But now that you've been doing it for 8 years, your name is pretty much synonymous with Oscar Mike Radio. People know who you are. How many times a month or do people reach out to you and say, "Hey, Travis, we want you to come to our event and maybe talk about it on a live or something like that"?
It's about once a month, twice a month it happens, and I'm always open to doing it. I want to make sure you're doing it for the right reason. If you ask me to do that, I'm going to look up your 990s, your filings, see what your financials are. I want to understand what this is. And the reason I do a lot of that, as you know, David, is nonprofits, not just veteran ones, are becoming very popular money laundering shelters. It's very easy to launder money, through nonprofits. So I want to make sure that a dollar coming in is a dollar spent on that veteran. And, I want to make sure the nonprofit is open to working with other people. There's resistance sometimes where I'm not going to work with anybody else, and I'm not sure that's going to be very successful. And then, will you roll up your sleeves? Are you doing this? It's easy to put on a party and raise some money for people. It's hard to actually do your function. I get really excited when someone has done their due diligence and gotten, VA certified or VA accredited. I know people don't like the VA, but when you have that accreditation, that means that your nonprofit is performing at a level that is, federally recognized, which it really, means you have credibility. So, I look for those kinds of things, and if I can support you, I will. If I can come to your event, I'll come out there and, talk to people about what you're doing and put that nonprofit lead in front of a camera so people can ask questions. I think that's important, because Instagram, reels and clips don't tell the whole story. But,
Right.
I want to know that you're active. I want to know that you're doing something instead of just raising money for a party, or, I want to put on a golf tournament for veterans. Well, okay, what's that golf tournament actually raising versus what's giving out?
Right. No, and that's where me and you are very similar, because when I look into these veteran service organizations, I do a deep dive into them. I look at Google reviews. I look at the 990s. I look at everything that I can look at about that organization before I even, bring them up on the show. And it's just like, because you have to, because like you said, they're veteran service organizations are dime a dozen nowadays. I mean, heck, you turn around in Kentucky and 3 more pop up. So, and it's just like, why are they doing it? Why, what's their reason? Why are they doing it? For the right reason? Are they doing it for name recognition, just so they can move on and become, political, like a political statement in the future? And no, that's kind of why me and you, when we first met, that's kind of, we talked about that. And I recognized right then that you were very similar minded than like I am. And then you had me on your show, and we got into talking about veteran service organizations, the good ones, the bad ones, and the people that are using a 501c3 to launder money through. And unfortunately, that happens all the time. So yeah, it's definitely crazy out there. So people, if you're watching this, wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, make sure you go to OscarMikeRadio.com. You can find Travis on there. You can go to Facebook, find him on there. Make sure you like, share, follow.
Thank you very much.
You got to do that. Same thing with HomeFront Sitrep. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, share it. Same thing with our Facebook page. Make sure you do that. Military United Podcast Streams, Heroes Media Group. Make sure you go follow those guys as well. Travis, so you've been podcasting for 8 years. Out of those 8 years, did you start off doing lives like I do now, or did you always do recorded episodes? And then out of those 8 years worth of podcasting, name some of your favorite episodes that you've done.
Yeah, I want to know your most memorable.
So I focused primarily on the recorded form, both video and audio. I can do live streams. I've worked very hard to dial in my live stream. The most memorable live stream I did was for Richard Fitz Jr. And what we did is he created a documentary called 21 Years of Folded Flag, which is about his father who was lost in Laos during the Vietnam War. And it took the U.S. government 21 years to allow the family to have closure. So my live stream was, I staged it through OBS. I played the movie because he allowed me to. We did the legal thing. And so I played the movie and streamed the movie. And then afterwards, we had a Q&A with Richard and the other filmmaker. And that was a very cool live stream. And, to me, doing the recorded and in video form first allowed me to do better live streams. But live streams and recorded are two different disciplines in my mind. It's all the same thing, but it's not. And some people really like doing the live, some people don't. I don't really have a favorite either way. I just want people to understand that there's different variables you got to watch for, account for, and understand if you're going live. There's certain things you can do recorded that you can't do live, and vice versa. So as far as my favorites go, well, they're all my favorite.
Right.
Out of the 400 that I've done, I think it's the ones where I'll do one. And I'll give you an example. I did one on Yvette Benavidez. Yvette Benavidez Garcia, and her father was the Master Sergeant,
Benavidez,
the Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah.
And, I'm sitting there, I'm at work one day, and one of my coworkers does a presentation, and I write him an email saying, "Hey, man, that was really good. You can tell you worked hard on it, and it came off really good." And he messaged me back saying, "Hey, just to let you know, I watch your show on LinkedIn, and I watched that one and picked up others that you do. And, I tried to be like you." And I'm like, I don't know why that hit me in the feels. I mean, it's good stuff like that. I think that's an example of a good one. I think the other one that is good, that really hit me hard this year was Karen Worcester from Reach Across America Radio. And the idea, and I tell other veterans this, I said, we have got to really make ourselves available to civilians that want to support us. We can no longer sit there in our little, fob or enclosed space and keep civilians out of the military experience, because there's a lot of civilians that want to support us. And she's an example of that. So that's another favorite one. I think getting to interview some of my, fellow battery mates was really cool. I got to interview a couple of foreigners, a guy from the UK who served in the UK Army, a gentleman who served in the German Army, who's a German hawker, and very interesting experience how the Germans implemented hawk versus the United States. Any Gold Star family member, it's not that it's my favorite, it's the trust that they have in the experience to open up about what that was like for their loss, hits me. And then as much as it's a scourge, I'm really proud of some of the shows I did with regard to MST. The fact that a female veteran can, feel safe enough to open up about what that experience was like. There's a gentleman in the Navy, a Navy veteran, talks about his MST experience, and he felt safe to open up, what was really something that I was proud of. But I learned something from every one of them. I still have fun all this time later, and it hasn't gotten old yet.
It's one of those, like, it is hard to say, like, what's your favorite or something like that, because I find myself like going back and reflecting on some of the ones that we've done. Yeah. And it's not one of those that this is a favorite. There are some that that just hit you a little different.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that I feel a little more are those vulnerable ones where somebody is on there just completely in this safe place to be vulnerable enough to share some of their darkest, deepest, let's say their spirals and their rabbit holes, and sharing that with somebody.
Yeah.
And there's something about that hits you where you've got goose pimples the whole time.
Yeah.
Or it just affects you, and it lingers with you going, you know what, this is real. And people need to hear this is what's actually happening. And it's one of those things that it needs to be talked about. Those things do need to be put out there and broadcast it like we do, and not in a sense of going, oh, poor person, but hey, life isn't unicorns and rainbows, and you can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
Just because you're uncomfortable talking about it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah.
Whether it's MST or, we've talked about, we have another podcaster, her son is going through some medical things, and it has nothing to do with it. There's
Camp Geiger, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things that are happening, and people just, they don't want to talk about it because it makes them uncomfortable, or it's such a bad thing, or they don't want to think about it. Well, that doesn't make it not happening. Yeah. It's still happening.
I'm like you, Travis. Like, out of the 100 that I've done, I can't pinpoint one that I would say was my favorite. Because I've interviewed some of my friends like Cletus Evans, who Chief Warrant Officer, Marine Corps League. He runs the Toys for Tots in the Louisville area here. I've interviewed Michelle Black, Gold Star widow. And her, it's one of those. I'm like Candace. There's ones that, and I'm like you, where there's ones that stick out in my head, but all of them are my favorite.
They hit you different.
But they all hit us different. Like Brandon Johnston, who's a Marine Corps veteran comedian out of South Carolina. I laughed his whole episode. Like, I mean, it was just fun from minute 1 to minute in. And then, like
stupid excited about a yacht club in California.
Yeah, we had a was it American Legion Post 291 out of Newport Beach, California. Come on, they got a yacht club. I'm like, holy cow, and it's just like there's just some that just like stick out more than others, but they're all, I can't pinpoint which one's my favorite.
And I think they're all just as important as the other. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Christopher Elder, who's with Mill to Vet. He's got a podcast called Return to Roots Mill to Vet, and he does amazing work out there. So I want to give him a shout out. He's out there in chat right now. And then my buddy, who's a puddle pirate, he's in the chat, or he's watching. He ain't really chatted yet, but Eugene Spear, if you're out there, say hello.
I was just thinking about Chris too. Like, that was such a fun podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Veteran Hundo Club.
Yeah, Veteran Hundo Club, with
so much fun.
With the whole team that jumped on there. That was a fun episode too. And I don't know. For me, missing a podcast episode or not getting that information out, because for me it's therapeutic for my PTS and stuff like that. If I miss an episode,
it sucks.
It sucks, because I'm like, dude, did I miss that one veteran? And I know you're the same way. One veteran at a time is what we focus on, because if we help that one veteran, then we know we did our job. We completed our mission that day.
Yeah, like, I've missed some lately because of doing vacation and like life, life has been happening, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But then, like, last week, like, I had to call Willis after one, and we were talking about that one person at a time. And I'm not a veteran. I'm a huge veteran supporter, and I've been doing that for 20 years. But as I was telling him, I said, sometimes doing this, we forget about ourselves too. But I had to call him that night and go, hey, like, I just needed to say thank you, because even if for some reason we didn't reach somebody out there, like, this helped me.
Yeah.
Like, I needed that so desperately that day. And like, I wanted to thank him for going, hey, like, thanks, Willis.
Well, that was Jeremy Stallnacker, who's a Marine Corps veteran. He's also the co-founder of Mighty Oaks Warrior Program. And amazing interview. He
yeah, it's an awesome podcast.
It was one of those that get you in your feels, because I try not to talk about politics. I try not to talk about religion and, on the shows, but just for the simple fact, I don't want somebody to get butthurt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the reality is, somebody's gonna get butthurt about something.
Yeah, but that was just it was really deep, intensive conversation talking about, like, I don't believe in that I don't have to go to church to worship the God that I worship. I can worship him here at my house. I don't have to go to a church to do that. But then he's like, he put it into perspective where it's not really going to church to worship the Lord. It's going to church to have that sense of camaraderie with the people that are like-minded. So I was like, oh man, I understand that. So,
but also, like, living life as a beautiful human. That was a beautiful conversation about religion, and then having the different views. Like, it was really cool. Like, have you run into something like that where it's not something you would typically talk about on a daily basis with your friends or anything like that, but you got into an episode and you got into this conversation with somebody, and you're like, how awesome was that conversation? And it was almost enlightening and like almost made you feel like a weight was lifted.
For sure. That's one of the best parts about, doing this, and, realizing that you're not the only one who feels a certain way or, is on a certain wavelength. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Christopher Raymond
took over that.
No, you're good. He goes, I don't know how you do with PTS. You guys remember all the names. It's
he
hard.
Just can't remember how to spell them.
Chris, it's hard sometimes to remember the names.
And who they're with.
And who they're with and stuff like that. Dude, I have my calendar on my phone. I have a planner that I write everything down in. And if I'm talking on a podcast, and sometimes I'll write down in notes too. And it's just like, so it's hard to remember sometimes. I do have a TBI, but it's not a severe TBI. So short-term memory is kind of a little wonky every now and then.
But some are a little more impressionable. And then you have more interactions with them. Like, we interact with you all the time. So how are we ever going to forget Chris and Veteran Hundo Club?
Right.
And then I don't think, like, right now, putting you on the spot, could you name every person you've done a podcast with, their name and what organization?
I couldn't
without looking at a list.
No, I'd have to open up the book and look.
And 400 of them, Travis, could you?
No. I have a list of my one note. That's how I do it.
Yeah, we're human, but there are ones that make more of an impression at times, and something that hits your feels a little different. Whether that's, I don't want to say a bad emotion, but something that's more heartfelt, and then some things that are more lively and fun or exciting, and those impact you on a personal level more sometimes.
Yeah,
because I'm sure there's maybe somebody that I remember a little better than you, and you may remember better than me.
Yeah,
just because of the different.
So Chris here from Meal to Vet says, bro, that feeling I get makes this worth it. It's an honor to be in a space where they share that story or experience, and to trust me in sharing that with our community. You're absolutely right on that, Chris, because if you get somebody that's on your show and they share their story with you, a lot of times I have to ask before I release an episode, because I want to make sure it's okay with them. And I know you get with that when you record your shows and stuff like that. But normally when people come on our show, they're willing to share their story. I know Tab Bartley, who's a Marine Corps veteran, the Oath We Took podcast, she said she recorded an episode, and right afterwards, the person called her back and said, hey, I'm not comfortable with letting that go out to the public yet. But it was good enough for them to tell their story. And I think, and she said she still hasn't released that episode yet, but that person, kind of, walked back a little bit. And I think they're doing much better than where they were before they told their story.
She was still able to help that person.
Yeah, she was still
able to release that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that was something that she was super happy about, even though not being able to release it. Going, you know what, it helped.
So Travis, what episodes do you got coming up that you're getting ready to release?
Well, next week is number 400 officially. It's a good one. I have had Mistress Carey was a DJ for WAAF in Boston, and the station got acquired, and she had to change her life, kind of like a military person. But even before then, her reputation around here is that she's a staunch supporter of veterans. And way back, when I was terrible, I asked her to come on and talk about an issue that had happened with her. And she came on for like number 87 and 100. And for number 100, 200, 300, and now 400, she's been on. But we got a little bonus this time. We have Bill Moore from Project New Hope in Worcester, Massachusetts, joining us. And, this is important because, again, a lot of civilians ask what can they do to help veterans, and they want to help. They want to feel involved. They feel a longing to be of service to those who served. And, Mrs. Carey, the DJ, Bill Moore, the U.S. Air Force veteran, and another entity got together and, did something to raise money to help Project New Hope out. And I find these really, impactful. So that's number 400. Number 401 is Annie Lutz, who's literally a rocket scientist, Air Force veteran, major, talks about, some of the work she's done in domestic violence advocacy and, STEM technology fields, so on and so forth. Then I have, other people coming up, and it's just a really exciting time to be able to tell these stories with people who are, in their lane, working hard to get where they're trying to go. But also we all understand, hey, life's not easy. It's not a, there's no yellow brick road, but if we all work together, we can go further.
Yeah, I know. I think my episode's coming out in August, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I've already recorded my episode, and
did you at least have a clean face?
I don't remember. I did shave here recently.
I know. I see that he's got this clean line. I almost I wanted to give you some crap about it, but I had to be nice.
But yeah, Brian, you're right. And Travis could probably agree. Some come on and just start talking. Some you have to ask questions to get to the answer. Yeah. You are correct. And some of my favorite episodes are ones where I can ask a question and they will go on and on and on. And that way it just makes the conversation flow a lot easier. And then you have some that comes on and they give you pointed answers. So they'll answer a question and then just stop. And it's just like, come on, bro, you gotta help me out here.
Don't talk bad.
Some people, depend upon their background or are trained that way. Some people don't know any better. Some people freeze up. It's really funny. They'll be busting your chops. The life of the party. You sit, record, put the microphone and the camera on them, and they're like frozen. And you gotta to Brian's point, you gotta unfreeze them. You gotta warm them up, and then you can't get them to shut up, and that's not bad either. So
he didn't want to be in front of camera. You never wanted to be in front of camera, and now you can't get him to shut up. You can shove as many crayons as you want to in his mouth. He ain't gonna shut up.
So it's all good. It's all good. It's all, and that's part of the craft of what we do to connect with that person.
Yeah, definitely. And Brian says he tend to give very long answers. And I do too. I like to, when I get interviewed, whether it be on, your show or Brian's show and other shows that I've been on, I try to interact a lot better. Like when I first started the podcast, I needed to find my voice. I'm going to use, Theory, who's a Marine Corps veteran, AKA rapper, his name is Ryan. He said the same thing. He's like, I had to find my voice, and I'm the same way. I had to find my voice into this because I don't want to sound monotone. I just don't want to be like, well, do this. And we had to find our voice. Like when we first started, I had a list of 20 questions that I would ask people. And
this is I want to script it.
I did want to script it at first because I wanted to, kind of go this way with it. But then I was like, no, it's more relatable if you just have a conversation with somebody. They feel more comfortable when it's just conversational based.
For sure. Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely. So, so you got your 400th episode come out. When does that release?
June 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Nice.
Now, if somebody wanted to come on your show to be a guest, how would they get in contact with you other than OscarMikeRadio.com? How could somebody get in touch with you?
People send me an email, travis@oscarmicradio.com, or they'll reach out on Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn and Instagram even. And, it's fine. I don't care how you contact me, but, contact me, tell me what your story is. And, if it smells, I might not be so open, but if it's good, we'll continue talking.
There you go. Yeah, no, I love it. I love it, man. I love what you're doing. I love our friendship that we've built over the last 6 months or so.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I love that you came on the tip of the spear the last month. Last tip of the spear that we had. We got that coming up on the 20. I believe it's the 26th this month.
26th, the Wednesday, yeah.
So it's we got Brian Ruth that's going to be on there. We got Brandon, myself. Triple Threat Vet should be back. Tab with The Oath We Took. Carol Lee with Conversations with a Vet. I'm hoping Adam Bird will be on there with Heroes Media Group. So we got a whole group of, like-minded veteran podcasters. What we do is we get on there and we talk about current events globally. And then we also talk about current events within the military and veteran communities. And then we find stories. Like we had the one about the flying balloons where South Korea was flying fecal matter balloons over, or no, North Korea was flying fecal matter balloons over South Korea.
Maybe I'm okay that I missed this past one. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. I know you got a hard stop. We got 2 minutes, so I'm gonna let you do a closing statement and let you go on because I know you got to get out of here.
With that being said, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Is there anything over the past 8 years that you have not accomplished yet that you would like to?
Oh, there's dozens of things. I have a list.
One out of the blender.
I'd like to, have my show on Armed Forces Network.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I'd like that a lot.
I would agree. I think I would love that too, to have my show.
I've kind of started reaching out, and I've kind of said, hey, you'll have a country artist on, but we're veterans and we're creating content that you guys can get plugged into now. There should be a space for us. And I'll follow that up with a bonus, Candace, is I'm really trying to get my ducks together. I've started writing Spotify and Apple. I think it's absolutely shameful that there's no military veterans category for us. And people don't understand how the algorithms work. And because there's no category for what we all do, we are at the mercy of whatever the algorithm says we are.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree that you are right. And if I need to help you with that, with writing Apple and Spotify and stuff like that, we can get all of us together, all of us veteran podcasters, and do that. And
I'm finding out who's who, getting the addresses, and getting ready to make a stink because, first of all, I'm not some schlub anymore, and to me, it's the person behind me who's trying to get on that needs, that thing done, and we're all in this together. So that's it.
Thank you for the bonus.
I'm right there with you. And I do want to tell you, I don't know if you've looked. Let's see.
We're going over hard stop. Sorry, Travis.
Just real quick, because this is something cool. So if you go to feedspot.com and you type in, or just go to Google and type 100 best veteran podcasts.
I'm on FeedSpot. I saw that you took over the first spot. Very nice. Nicely done.
I did. And you moved up to number 6. You're back up to number 6.
Yeah, that's I don't know what that is or how they do it, but I've at least stayed in the top 10 for a long time, so I'm happy.
We're not going to question it at all. We don't really care how
they
do it.
I don't know how they figure out their algorithm at all. But I'm excited that Brian, who's in here, Chad, is Brian Roof with Every Day's a Saturday, USMC vet. He's number 4. Triple Threats number 2, Return to Roots, Milda Vets number 3, Homefront Sitrep's number 1. But anyway, I know you got to get out of here, my friend. It's a hard stop. We're a little over 1 minute over. So do you want a closing statement real quick, and I'll let you go?
Hey, at the end of the day, I would tell anybody getting into this space, if you look at your guest or topic and want to add value to that guest or topic, especially in the veteran space, instead of worrying about downloads, subscribers, or sponsors, if you put value first to our brothers and sisters and what their story is, you will never be wrong. And the payoff is exponentially greater than any kind of social media endorsement.
You said it best right there, my friend. It's all about the content that we put out. Don't worry about your listeners. Don't worry about your ratings. Just put out good content and make sure you're genuine about helping veterans. You said it beautifully. My friend, it was a pleasure. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday, the 26th on the Tip of the Spear. You are always welcome to jump on my show anytime. If you need anything, you got my phone number. I got your phone number. Reach out to me, brother. You be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, we're Oscar Mike Radio. We're Mission in Flight. Thank you very all.
Semper Fi, brother.
Semper Fi. Goodbye.
Bye, Travis.
No, that was super, super, super cool. Travis is amazing. Great dude. He's got a voice for radio and he's got a face for TV. You got to figure that out.
I have this. I really like Travis. I have this conflict in my head about his voice, though.
Oh, yeah.
He has that radio voice, that after dark radio voice, but at the same time, and don't judge me for this, anybody, there's a little bit of Rush Limbaugh in there.
No,
so maybe it's just a man crush on the voice. Like you guys have a man crush on the voice.
Nah.
And maybe you and Brandon are all over it. Like, I love you, Travis. You do great things, but don't let these boys get to your head.
I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't.
You wish your voice was that deep.
I mean, I could make it that deep, but I'm not going to.
You should just say one line of your Marine song.
No. But anyway, so HomeFront Sitrep did take over number 1. I don't know how, but we did. We're back up to number 1. And
yes, Chris.
Morgan Freeman in the house.
Now that I love Morgan Freeman's voice. I could listen to it. Give me a Bible read in the voice of Morgan Freeman. I'm all over it. All over it.
Talking about some Andy Dufresne at Shawshank prison. But no, man, I tell you, I love doing what we do with HomeFront Sitrep, where we focus on veteran service organizations from around the country. We got some great ones coming up, some great episodes coming up. And, I love bringing in other veteran podcasters to talk about what they do and why they got started into podcasting. And then I love talking to veteran authors. As you can tell, I got a buttload of books back there, and I'm getting ready to build a new shelf. I just got the wood for the new shelf.
Because you're running out of room.
I am.
I do like how you have your crowns displayed, even though nobody can see them.
Yeah, well, I was going to try to set them up, but they wouldn't sit up. So I need a stand for them or something. But
we can make that happen.
Yeah, we can definitely make that happen.
No, it's cool. And it's really cool, learning about organizations and stuff that we've never heard of.
Oh, yeah. And that's the whole purpose, is finding those grassroots organizations out there that you and I from Kentucky have never heard of them, like Project Zero in Texas, Warriors Next Adventure in Minnesota, Two Wolf Foundation in Montana. That one's so cool. Wayward Warrior Ranch in Bristol, Virginia, the Hope Project down in the Panhandle of Florida, and I just found out a new organization that I want to bring on. Veterans Never Die Alone, which is by hold on, I'll bring this up, because so there's too many veterans out there. It's no veteran dies alone. Veteran.
They do funerals.
No veteran dies alone. It's underneath of wehonorveterans.org is the name of the 501c3. So NVDA program is inspired. It's designed to honor veterans, whether they're in hospice, whether they're, whatever. If they have no family, another veteran out there can go sit with that veteran. And they do
shut-ins, things like that.
And they do 12-hour shifts. And usually they'll have a group of 4 and they'll do 4-hour shifts within that 12 hours, which is, and Craig Murphy, who was a veteran. I forget the what organization he's with, but he does that on his personal time. So he's with an organization, but he does this on his personal time. Al Hero down in Florida with Triple Threat Vets, he does it through hospice. So he'll go in there and he'll sit with veterans, you know, that are on their deathbed pretty much.
One of the great things that the cooties do, like you guys all know how I feel about this at the VFW, but there's the group of the cooties and that's what they do. It's what's keeping them smiling in beds of white, and that's what they focus on.
Yeah, because no veteran should die alone.
No,
I would agree with that. So if you're out there, you're watching this wherever, and you want to volunteer to go sit with a veteran in the hospital or at his home, you know, look up. We honor veterans. Look up No Veterans Die Alone.
We're going to talk about them. We haven't even got them on here yet.
Well, we're going to. I'm going to reach out to them.
I like it.
So you can volunteer to do that program. It's going to be hard.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But it's going to be needed to do. And you know, Al talks about it all the time, and he never heard of this organization either, and because he was doing it through hospice, because his wife, I think, is a hospice nurse, and so he goes and sits with them.
A special person.
Yeah,
like I've got goosebumps so many times this episode. It's like Brian said earlier, like it fills you up. Like it may not be the most like laughing, joyful thing that you're doing, but what you get out of something like that is you don't experience it anywhere else. And between that, like having a veteran in hospice alone with no family, and even the unfortunate after death, how many times do we see on that veteran page just in Mount Washington, or what is it, Louisville or Kentucky, that they're reaching out going, hey, we have a burial for a veteran and they have no family. Does somebody want to attend? How sad is that?
It's very sad when there is no family. And I share those all the time. And here lately, they've been up in northern Kentucky, and I'll tag my veteran friends that are up in that area and be like, hey, there's a veteran in your area that, you know, has no family. And we'll get the Patriot Guard involved, and we'll get all these, and we'll have veterans out there. And
there's quite a few in E-Town too.
Yeah. At the Carl Brashear Veteran Memorial Hospital or Cemetery in E-Town. So, but no, man, I love like I said, I love the community that we're building with these other veteran podcasters, you know, Brian Roof, Christopher Elder, Travis, that we just had on, Travis Partington, Triple Threat Vets with Al, Scott, Ty.
Our newest, Brandon.
And Brandon Cooper. And then, so we might have our fourth for our Tuesdays and Thursday. We do have our first episode scheduled on a Tuesday. We do have some more meet and greets that we're reaching out to some organizations. And so HomeFront Sitrep will be 4 days a week. So we're going to do Sunday, Monday with Candace and myself.
With all your podcasting needs.
And then Brandon is going to start doing Tuesdays and Thursdays with possibly another host.
Or we'll be filling in from time to time.
Well, somebody told me last night they're very interested. He's a podcaster right now. He does a podcast, and he reached out to me and said that he was interested. So I'm waiting on him to give me a call. If you're out there and you're having trouble filing your VA disability, HomeFront Sitrep has a new segment. We have Monica Sanford from the Monica Sanford SANFORD show. She is.
Think of Sanford.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to make sure it wasn't Samford. It's San SAN Ford.
I was just telling my daddy about this yesterday.
Oh,
our new segment. Ask Monica.
So she is a nurse practitioner. She's or doctor of nursing. So she's a CPNA. What it was? GPNA.
Oh, come on, don't mess it up.
GPNA. Whatever. She's a doctor of nursing. She's a badass. She's been married to a retired lieutenant colonel, United States Marine Corps,
which makes her more of a
for 35 years. She is badass. So she has agreed to do a segment within HomeFront Sitrep, which is called #AskMonica. If you have VA disability questions, you can email her at askmonica0@gmail.com. Here, let's play this little video clip. So yeah, you can reach out to Monica at askmonica0@gmail.com, or you can email us at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com with your VA disability questions. And we will Monica will email you back, or we will bring her on the show and talk about it here. I know right now that she is working with that one lady that asked a question about the Marshall Islands right now. So they've been doing a lot of correspondence back and forth there. So super cool. I'm waiting. I got to call Will Creasman, who is a clinical therapist. He's embedded with units at Fort Knox. We're going to start a segment with him as well. So I'm super excited about that. We just got to work out the logistics and stuff. So super cool about that.
Tons of great things coming up. And tons of I don't want to call them changes, but additions. There's some great additions coming to HomeFront.
It was needed. I mean, unfortunately, fortunately, but unfortunately, for our niche of doing veteran service organizations, there was a need for it because there's so many of them out there, and we're scheduled out to August. We're already booking to August, and we've got people reaching out all the time. And it's like, all right, we need to have another set of days.
But also with that said, like if you're out there and you know of an organization, you're part of an organization, you're active, retired, you're family of, and it's something you would be interested in being on here with us or giving your story or spreading the word about the resources you can give, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out to us.
I mean,
we're filling up, but we'll keep come on, we want to spread it.
We got a bunch of outdoor programs getting ready to come on. Lone Star Outdoors. There's a whole list of them. I could go in, but they're meet and greets. They're not scheduled yet. So I'm going to try to put some on the Tuesday, Thursday crew. I'm going to do some on ours on Sunday, Monday.
But we also have some big live events that are getting ready to come up over the summer.
Yeah. So we got July 25th through the 30th. The Vietnam Traveling Wall with the Cost of Freedom tribute is coming to Shepherdsville, Kentucky. So if you're in the area, you need to make sure you come up there. Twice.
You need to visit it twice.
You need to see it twice. You need to see it in the daytime, and you need to see it in the nighttime when it transforms. Then we have our third annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert on November the 9th here in Mount Washington at the West Banco Amphitheater here in Mount Washington. We have 12 hours of music. We will have a 50-50 raffle. We will have food trucks, vendors. We're going to have a little bit of everything there. It should be pretty fun with 12 hours of music. We haven't released the list yet of the bands that will be there, but I do know
be worth it.
It'll definitely be worth it. So it's $10.
Can you beat that?
$10 to get in for 12 hours of music.
That's less than $1 an hour.
And that's all the money that's raised from that. 100% will be going to Camp Hero, Kentucky. So make sure you come out November the 9th for that. We are also still working on Hero Stock, Kentucky, which will be at the Bullitt County Fairgrounds on November the 8th. Just got to get with the mayor of Shepherdsville and get all that lined up. We will be doing a live broadcast from there. We probably might even broadcast that the whole day. The thing about Hero Stock, veterans, first responders, Gold Star families will get in free. General public will be $19.99.
Which you still can't beat. We got some, especially with the unnamed.
Yeah, with the unnamed people that are coming in. We will have some veteran singers. Well, actually, pretty much everybody there will be a veteran singer or family member of a veteran that is a singer-songwriter that haven't been signed to a record label yet. They're independent.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What 2 days of concert can you go to? Full days of concert can you go to for a total of $30?
None.
And that $30 is going to wonderful causes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm yeah.
You can't be
So this year, Hero Stock is
in November.
This year, Hero Stock's going to be 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, it's going to be 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be at the Bullitt County Fairgrounds. It should be an amazing time. We're going to bring in veteran service organizations, have them set up a table, booth, all that good jazz. They'll be there for that. We'll have food trucks, vendors as well. We're trying to focus strictly on the veteran side of things, first responders. Of course,
even with those food trucks and stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of those are veteran.
A lot of them are veteran owned. Yeah,
I mean, like if you miss out, you're missing out. Like you're missing out on a lot of great things and a really awesome time. And like remind me, I'm pretty sure the one in Mount Washington, regardless, like during the day, is family friendly, right?
Yes, there is a water park there.
Last year we weren't able to do family friendly because where we were, but
yeah, there's a water park there. Of course, it's November, so it might be a cold day, it might be a hot day, and
but there's still a playground.
There's a playground there. There's bathrooms on site, so you don't have to worry about using the porta-john. There's bathrooms,
trails.
There's walking. Yeah, there's all kinds of
set
things.
up a picnic and
Now at the Bullitt County Fairgrounds, we will have porta-johns, but we'll make sure they're ADA compliant too. So if you're
mark one, no Marines.
No. But it's one of those things. I got to play this commercial because
Yeah. Sorry.
I played it earlier in the intro video with Travis and everything. But this video here, we play it every time. I played it once at the beginning and once at the end because this commercial hits all of us. I've said everything that they write on this whiteboard, and if you're in crisis, 988 pound 1 if you're a veteran, 988 if you're just a civilian, you reach out to them. It just hits when I first saw that commercial. Like I said, I've rewound it, played it, rewound it, played it, rewound it. Called the wife and said, "Hey, come in here."
You're right.
And she watched it, and we rewound it and played it, and it was just like, "Babe, I've answered that question same way that they wrote on there numerous times." And holy cow, man, it's just
How many times I've seen it now, and every time, like I'm looking around our little camera, and I'm still reading every time, and I know what it says.
Yeah.
Like I have it memorized, but I read it word for word, and every time you still hear me go, like at certain ones of them, because it's still no matter what, everyday life for everyday people, no matter who you are, like
it definitely
don't hit you.
Yeah, if that don't hit you, then you just code calculated. If you're a veteran business and you would like to sponsor HomeFront Sitrep, reach out to us at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. We will work out a package deal for you. So right now we're doing 8 episodes a month. We're getting ready to actually go up 16 episodes a month. So that's half of the month that we'll be doing episodes. So I'm super excited about that. It's something that we talked about growing, eventually growing into. Candace and I will still be doing the Sunday, Monday, and possibly filling in on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we needed to. But we will, if you're a veteran and you want to get into podcasting and you would like to join the HomeFront Sitrep team, reach out to homefrontsitrep@gmail.com. And we will conduct our interviews with you. So we have some really great episodes coming up. So tomorrow we got Back the Heroes Rumble from Cincinnati, Ohio.
I'm probably gonna get fired tomorrow.
Yeah, you're always fired.
I already have quit. Why did I get fired today? I haven't gotten fired lately. I think you just felt bad for me, like because it's been rough. But no, I already have questions for them tomorrow.
That's fine.
I might get fired during our meet and greet on Wednesday.
Meet and greet on Wednesday. Who do we got on Wednesday? Oh, okay. That's an outdoor. Oh no, Mended Heroes or Mended Sparrow is coming up on Wednesday. So Father's Day, we don't have an episode.
I went and saw my daddy yesterday.
I know. And then on the 17th, we got Jeff Nelligan with he's an Army National Guard veteran. He's the son of 3 military member active duty right now. Father of. Did I say son of?
You did.
Son of or father of. God dang.
I didn't do it. You did it.
He's the father of 3 active duty service members. He wrote a book. It's back here. 4 lessons from my 3 sons. He's also wrote other books as well, which we'll get into that on the show. The weekend of the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, I will not be here. We will not have episodes. It's my wife's birthday, and I'm going to be a good husband, and we're going on a little trip, which is needed anyway.
But to where you want to go.
She suggested it.
Because she wanted to make you happy, too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's her birthday.
That's part of being married, bro. We always go where she wants to go. Always. Every vacation we go where she's the one that said, "Hey, let's go," and that was an impromptu vacation. And we were going out there to see our friend Bubba Wesley. So you can go check out Bubba Wesley's music at BubbaWesley.com. He is a rising superstar in the Texas music scene. Love his music. His Falling Star is #1 right now. He's a big time veteran supporter. He loves veterans. So go check out BubbaWesley.com or go to Spotify, wherever you listen to music, type in Bubba Wesley. And his music is awesome. I love his music.
Some of it a little rated.
Some of it is not rated. Yeah, adult rated. He's got one that says "Can't Get You Off My Mind." I'm gonna leave it there. It's not kid friendly.
That was the most innocent phrase you possibly could have said.
And then on the 30th, to round out the month of June, I got my brother from another mother, Brian Roof, with Every Day's a Saturday USMC veteran coming on. He's a podcast host. He's also the founder or one of the founders of Military United Podcast Streams, which we are a proud member of. We're also a proud member of Heroes Media Group, which is Mr. Adam Bird. I got to have a call with him tomorrow to talk about our 2 new shows that we're bringing up to the show.
We're also a very proud member of Veteran Hundo Club.
And we also are a proud member of Veteran Hundo Club.
Loving it.
And then July 1st, we're going to have Soldiers to Sidelines. This organization, what they do is they take veterans and transform them into coaches, whether it's football, baseball, you name it. They help you get your coaching certificate and stuff like that. So super cool. July 7th, my birthday. Podcast maybe, podcast no. I don't know yet. It just depends. But we don't have anybody scheduled that day.
We're going on vacation before that. You're good.
Well,
we can have a podcast that day. Wait. No, we can't. When?
July 7th.
Oh, yeah, we can.
And then July 8th, we got Operation Home Vets with Nets. Super cool. Then we got Nick Buss with Leaf Homes. Then we got John Daly. If you're a Marine, you kind of know that name, John Daly. And then we got Mark Wilson with Modern Woodman. Which if you
know him, I've known him for 15 years.
Super cool cat.
He is.
So he does life insurance and stuff like that for veterans and veteran families. So we're going to talk about what Modern Woodman does for veterans.
I was going to say they do so much more than that.
Yeah, they do.
What they do for the veteran community is just it's been amazing to watch over the years.
And then on the 22nd of July, we got Scotty Frazier with the Scotty Frazier Band, country singer, Marine Corps veteran. And then July 28th, we got Ruck It Up for Warriors with Scott Frendenberg. And then we're going to end the month of July with Chris Lancia, who is in Tennessee. don't know what his title is. It's a new position within the government of Tennessee for veterans. I forget his title. And then
that weekend of the 27th and 28th, that one, are we going to be doing those podcasts from the bunker, or are we going to be doing those from the park?
So the 28th will probably be
at the park on Sunday.
Be at the park, maybe. Yeah, we'll be at the park on that one.
Monday.
And then the 29th will be here. I'm not going to be at the park on the 29th.
That'd be kind of cool to do that on Sunday, though.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'll be there DJing with Chrissy Mobley, who's another veteran. So I think we can get her on the show that night too, because me and her will be splitting the duty when it comes to DJing that night.
Well, you know what's really cool is there's going to be so many other VSOs and other things
and then
involved in that.
Yeah.
That being there live.
Yeah, but I don't want to take away from Ruck It Up from Warriors.
No, of course not. But that might be one of our little impromptu. We might have an impromptu live.
Maybe during the day, earlier,
or even the day before.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows?
Make sure you go and like and subscribe, and you'll always know when we pop on.
Yeah, so you definitely want to go to our YouTube channel at HomeFront Sitrep on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. I think last I looked, we were at 98 subscribers. Yeah.
Or LinkedIn.
YouTube. I'll tell you in 1 second. We are 99.
We just need one more.
We need one more person.
Go do it right now.
Jump on.
Go on YouTube and subscribe.
Let's see. I'm going to put share channel ID. Copy. I'm going to throw
Who's going to be number one?
I'm going to throw our link out there. This is our YouTube channel link. You click on that. Click on subscribe. Like I said, we are at 99 right now.
That's kind of exciting. Come on, one more.
So I'd love for it to jump up to 100, but I'm not worried about numbers really.
No, but that's kind of cool. It's one of those milestones, kind of like
it is.
He was talking about earlier and having the same person on there for 100, 200, 300, now 400. Like that's kind of cool.
So we are. I don't know how many episodes deep we are. I need to go back. So you got to think. We started out doing 4 a month, and then we went to 8, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 8 a month. So we're close. I think we're right at 100 episodes, or I need to look.
Yeah, obviously you had your nose so deep into so many different things, and
well, I'm not counting counting the lives though. I'm not counting the lives towards that. So we might be like the ones we did for Mission Barbecue. The one.
Oh no.
The one we did from 21st in Germantown. We did. I'm not counting the lives that we did.
No. No, but I'm just saying, like here recently, like HomeFront's been, having all of our additions and stuff. Your nose has been so deep into that. I don't know how you would be able to keep up with it, anyways.
Well, I need to start because I need to figure out which one's going to be our 100th episode. And then plus we're throwing in Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I think I'm just gonna. Our 100th episode will be Sunday, Monday. We'll we'll figure it out. But anywho, it's about that time. Thank you guys for coming on here. And look, I'm gonna throw this out there because you guys are why we.
It's so cool. It's not about numbers, Willis.
I know, but
but it is so cool. It's such a neat feeling.
This is about our listeners. You guys out there have made us number one on the 100 Best Veteran podcast. And I can't thank you guys enough out there for doing what you do and liking and watching and listening and interacting. That's what makes us get better. If you have questions, if you have concerns, email them to me at homefrontsitrep@gmail.com and we will address those questions, concerns. We try to keep it kid friendly most parts. But there are episodes where We just don't care. I can't say that we don't care, but it's just we're veterans.
It's a veteran podcast,
Yeah.
and I think there's only been one podcast that you said we need to mind our P's and Q's,
and that was Mighty Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not really mind our P's and Q's, but it is.
You know what? If there's veteran families or first responder families watching this, and their kids are around, their kids are used to whatever's going on here anyway.
Mm-hmm. But no, I love it. I love it. And you guys are amazing. Our faithful, our faithful people that come and watch us week in, week out. You guys are amazing. I can't wait to see what our Tuesday and Thursday crew is going to do. Brandon is amazing. He's very like-minded to who I am, or how I am, not to who I am, but how I am. So it's just, we just gelled. And then Mr. Lake, I'm waiting for him.
Throwing a name out.
I am. I'm waiting on him to respond to me, but he's super, super cool cat too. So, but anyway, like Candace and I always say, stay safe out there. We got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.